Morning everybody, Chris from Oddly Specific Films. Today making a video talking about how I film POV driving videos. I got a couple tips and tricks, maybe a little bit unique from the typical hat with the GoPro mounted underneath it. So I wanted to share some of the ways that I make these videos. First thing you need, some type of action cam. Doesn't have to be a GoPro. DJI and Insta360 both make pretty good ones. I think even Sony still makes action cams, but more or less pick whichever one you prefer. As long as it's a somewhat modern cam, they're all pretty capable. They'll all look nice. They all have 4K, good dynamic range. They pretty much are all good enough now as far as overheating goes that it's not really something they get to worry about. Like I said, the quality is pretty good on all of them, so more or less now it's kind of just, if you're not watching them side by side, it's pretty tough to tell which one's better. So it's really just a matter of whichever one's the best deal, or if maybe one has a specific feature that you really like. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Me personally, I choose GoPro because I just happened to buy it first. They're readily available at Best Buy, and I like the cloud upload where you can get, I think it's $25 a year, or maybe that's just because it was the first year, but you get infinite cloud storage. Like I said, I don't know if DJI has that. I don't know if Insta360 has that, but they're all so close that I haven't really felt the need to change to something else. Once you get your action cam, you need some type of way to put it on your face. And this method is probably the most popular. It's how a lot of people, a lot of YouTube channels that you'll see will tell you to do it. It's the way you'll see a lot of people doing it. They just take a baseball cap or something. A little plug right there, got my original logo. And what you use is the GoPro magnetic mount. Just stick it on there like that. You got to make sure that the cap is nice and tight. And you kind of prop it up like that. Angle it. Do a little side profile right there. I do it the medium mod on this just so I can tell which GoPro is which, but be a little bit smaller without it. This works. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's a little bit wobbly and it's really not that comfortable with the hat on. Alright, so now the way a lot of people will tell you not to film or not to mount the camera on your head is using the head strap, the GoPro head strap. It's for a good reason, and it's because when you have the camera mounted on it, it's a bit too high. It's probably about 3 to 4 inches above where my actual point of view is. So I'll put up a clip from one of my earlier videos before I had the right way to mount it, but it makes it way too high up and it doesn't look like you're actually driving. You'll pretty much look straight down. You'll see the roof line, the hood, and not a whole lot of driving. Now, I actually found a way around this. All you need, and I'll put the link up on Amazon, or from Amazon, it's just maybe like a $2 or $3 adapter piece, but it allows you to flip the GoPro over, and it puts it in a much better position. That's what it looks like with the adapter piece on there. Now, what's actually kind of cool about this is that because you have the multiple joints there, you can kind of flex it to fit the contour of your face. So it gives you a lot more options for, I guess, different size heads. My headband is actually starting to wear out a little bit. The foam's falling off. Alright, so thanks to the multiple joints on it, you're able to put it just like that. I'm trying to see. And in my opinion, this is way more comfortable than the hat. It also feels more sturdy. And I just prefer it a lot more to the hat. So, like I said, just a regular GoPro headband and a couple dollar piece off of Amazon. And I think it's a much better solution. I did want to mention there are a couple smaller action cams now. I believe the Insta360 Go, where it's kind of like a little pod and you can kind of wear it like a headband. I don't know about the brand new ones, but I remember when I was shopping for cameras, they only did 1080p, and the quality is obviously not going to be as good because it has a lot smaller sensor and a lot of other reasons, and poorer battery life, probably more overheating. So maybe someday those cameras will be really good and they'll be on par or better than bigger action cameras, but for now at least I think you'd be better off getting this size form factor. They do also make those, the Ray-Ban glasses with the cameras in it. Those are probably the same thing. I'd be really shocked if they're able to get the same image quality that you could with a camera like this. So, for the meantime, this is probably the best solution. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is how to record audio. So if you're just starting off and you are on a budget, you can use the audio recording from this. It won't be the best quality, and depending on, I guess, the person, I tend to be a heavy breather, so mine picks up a lot of spare noise. And also, I know a lot of people will use the buzzword binaural audio. These cameras do have multiple mics in them, so it does record actual spatial sound. It will have stereo surround sound, but you can get a lot higher quality microphones, obviously. Now, the one thing that I'm not really a big fan of on the external audio recording is, the external recorder, they start anywhere from maybe like $50 to $100. They're so close in price that it might actually make more sense for you just to pick up a second action cam for another $100 or so. And then it gives you the flexibility to mount another camera somewhere. For example, I could put this on the dashboard right next to where my main camera is, and now I have a second audio source in the car where I can take audio from either this camera or this camera. I can get second POVs. If I want, maybe I can point it at the shifter, maybe I can mount it outside the car, I could put it next to the exhaust pipes. You have a lot more flexibility, in my opinion, with a second action cam rather than just using an external recorder. Next thing I wanted to show, at least for GoPro, and like I said, I don't know if DJI has this, I don't know if Insta360 has it, but if you have a newer than GoPro Hero 12, you have the option to sync time codes between multiple Hero 12 or Hero 13 cameras. So that makes it really easy post-process when you can just drag them both in the timeline and it automatically syncs up the timestamps. So editing multiple clips at the same time and then cutting back and forth between different POVs, it makes it super easy. And I'll throw up some of the clips where I've done that too. So it gives you a lot of flexibility where, let's say if you're driving and you want to do a second cut, maybe you're about to do a fast acceleration and you have the second GoPro mounted on the backside. Maybe you start doing your acceleration, maybe mid-shift, you'll switch to the second camera, and you'll get that really cool sound effect from, having the external audio. And it'll just, in my opinion, elevate the video a little bit more. I guess technically it does make it more than just a POV drive at that point, but, I kind of like it, so. I also just wanted to show this off real quick. This is like a little triple magnet suction cup mount that I have for exteriors of cars. It's very similar to what you would find on like the Insta360 car mount, where it has like the 5 suction cups. I probably wouldn't recommend putting like a 3-foot selfie stick on something like this, but if you're just using a regular action cam on it, I've never had it fall off. And it also has plenty of space to tether it to maybe a door handle or a rear spoiler or something, just in case. Because if you have one of these on the outside, you really should have a safety tether. 1, so you don't lose your camera, and then 2, so it doesn't go through somebody else's windshield or cause an accident. So, like I said, I've never had one fall off, but always keep it tethered just in case. Also, if you're looking to go a little bit higher up on audio, obviously I have my nice microphone on my big camera right now, but one option that I think is really cool, for cars at least, is the DJI Mic 2 system, the wireless mics. Pretty much you get a wireless receiver and 2 little microphones, and what's cool about this is you can kind of plant them in the car wherever you think would work, and you have a lot of insane amount of flexibility in what you can do with it. Like I was kind of mentioning, the binaural audio that a lot of people talk about on YouTube, that pretty much just means you have 2 audio channels, and you can set these up so that you have a left and a right, and you can just find wherever you think would be the best spot to put them in the car. So at least for a Jeep, I actually have these little latches up on the roof where you can mount these up. And now I don't have to have the headphones being used. I don't have to rely on the audio in this, and I'm getting a true audio sound of what it would be like in the car. So you hear me talking on the driver's side, maybe you hear Mrs. POV talking on the passenger side, and that will reflect. Or, if a truck passes on that side, you'll hear it that side. it's pretty cool actually, and it gives you a lot of flexibility. And another thing that you can do too, so you can set these up to record left and right channel rather than recording at the same time. So you could put one of these on your interior, maybe put it on the dashboard right there so it kind of picks up the sound from both sides, and then you can mount the other one underneath your license plate in the back. And then post-process, you can trim the audio channels, so you could take the left audio channel and then make it stereo instead of a mono clip. So you would have sound of your voice in the video, and then maybe if you're cutting to an exhaust pole or a clip with your exhaust sound on it, you can take that right channel and then turn that into a stereo clip too, and you'll have just backup sound sources. So I found, at least for me, it's always good to have multiple sound choices, and then you can choose whichever one fits better, whichever one sounds better. If something happens, maybe you're breathing really heavy, maybe a car passes by and it just totally ruins the clip from the GoPro. But if this recorded clean audio that doesn't sound bad, take that one. Another thing that's really nice is if you're recording with this in a convertible, the wind noise is going to be crazy on it. But these wireless receivers, you can put them anywhere. You can put them right behind the windshield. It's out of the wind stream. You'll still get like nice sounds of the engine and stuff. You'll still pick up yourself talking. So the flexibility of it being wireless without doing crazy stuff, running wires through the trunk, running wires from outside the car, it gives you a ton of flexibility, and it's a good solution. So I think the last thing I wanted to talk about as far as what I do to film POV driving videos is just talk about the lens choice. At least on GoPro, the options are linear, wide, super view, and hyper view. I tend to use super view because I think it gives a good POV without the distortion. Some people might choose hyper view because it gives you a little bit more reach on the outer edges, but in my opinion, the distortion makes it look so bad, I don't really like it. You can also use wide if you prefer more narrow field of view, but usually super view will give you a good perspective. It'll kind of get the, if you're driving a manual, it'll get the shifter in view. It'll get the full steering wheel in view with like the logo and stuff on it. So I tend to use the super view, but I'm not really sure what the competitor cameras offer, and I would just say I wouldn't recommend just using the widest FOV possible because you do get that distortion. And also, it's not your actual field of view in person isn't so wide that you can see everything at the same time. So in my opinion, it doesn't actually give it a natural look. So I would recommend either wide or super view, at least in the GoPro world. I think that just about wraps it up, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions about how I film POV driving videos or any other POV videos in general, just leave a comment below. I'll make sure to do my best to answer it. And thanks for watching.